Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Coming to you today from my garage. So, you guys know some videos I put up are super popular when it comes to like Invicta watches and watches in general. Other videos, they don't get a lot of views. And ultimately, no matter what the video, however the video is going to perform, I'm going to go ahead and put up a video regardless because I believe that YouTube has really turned into a search engine. And what's great about YouTube is that it gives people a lot of inspiration for adding things to their home or customizing things, solving problems, learning how to do things. And whenever I get a great product, I want to share it with you guys because some of these products, these obscure products that you know, you don't really think about day to day, or that you might not even realize you even wanted, you might discover from watching a channel like this, and then it might, you know, solve a problem you might be having in your own life or your garage or whatever. So the product I want to share with you guys today is a tire rack. So I want to show you guys what I did, and I tell you that this is a fantastic product. Now, I am a neatnik. I am super organized, and I love anything that really adds some organization to my life. Trying to position this camera here, guys, so we're not getting a glare, so bear with me here. Alright, so that'll probably work. Alright, so my garage is super well organized. It's kind of an ongoing project. It's not, you know, catalog. I'm not like over the top, you know, when it comes to like cataloging every single bin or whatnot. You know, I still have to kind of root through things to find things sometimes. So I'm not like too anal and over the top, but I do like organization. And you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, I have 3 vehicles. Those vehicles all have wheels on them. They all had 20s on them until recently, where I had to drop down to 18s on my accordion. And the thing about wheels is that they're expensive. And, you know, I just can't bring myself to just throwing them in the garbage can once you have an issue. Unfortunately, when it comes to chrome plating on wheels, you know, it just, depending on where you live, it's going to hold up better in some parts of the country than others. Now, either way, I am a firm believer in garaging my vehicles during the winter time. When we get rain, we get snow, whatever the weather may be, if it's not sunny and dry, I try to keep those wheels off the road. Now, my Accord is really the vehicle gets the brunt of the abuse. You know, it's my daily driver year-round. My other 2 cars, my Jag and my Solara, they kind of get a little more baby. You know, you have to pick one until I get a 4th car, and maybe I can retire the Accord for a little while. Or, you know, put it away for the winter time. Regardless, usually I take the wheels off. Now, long story short, you can see that I have 8 wheels and tires up on these new racks I put in. And so the thing is, I just don't want to get rid of them, but they take up a lot of room. And I don't have a big garage. I kind of have a tandem garage. Probably big enough to put 2 Beetles in, not big enough to put 2 cars in. Got 1 car in the garage right now, the Jag. But I didn't want to get rid of these wheels and tires. I don't want to pay for storage. So right now, I've been storing these at my parents' house. The thing is that these Anteras, these are off my Honda. And these Anteras were extremely expensive wheels. I paid about $600 a piece, minus the tires for them. They're Italian made. You pay a lot for them. Back in the day when I got them, which was about 21 years ago, 22 years ago, you know, 18s were huge. And you paid a lot for 18s. Now these are great wheels. I use these rain, snow, whatever, and they held up pretty well. But as things happen, you know, in time, the chrome started to flake on the inside of the bead, and that created a bad seal. One of the wheels was really bad, and it would not seal for air. The other one, another one of my 20s that I had on the Accord, 3 stars. They're gorgeous, great condition. 1 cracked. So I had a guy who kept welding it for me, but it just kept opening up. So I downgraded again to 18s, but the problem is now it's really hard to find 18s for a 4-lug. So right now, at least I got something on the car that'll work, but they're not going to last forever. The quality of wheels, unfortunately, sometimes some companies just, you know, the Anteras were cut above. The Incubus next to those, pretty decent. My DeCorsas, my Lexani's, fantastic. The ones on my Accord now, not so great. The chrome's, you know, they're not that old, and the chrome's flaking. And I haven't really driven that car very much this year. So it is what it is, but I want to be able to kind of work on these, maybe try to get the chrome off the Anteras, get them powder coated, and use those for, you know, they'll be a lot more durable if they're powder coated. So we'll see, time will tell. But point is, I needed some way to store these. So what I did is I got these Amazon racks. Guys, I'll put a link in the description. These were super cheap. $21 shipped to my door for each rack. Now, those were used. If you're gonna pay about $40 to $60 if you get them brand new. But I figured, you know what? I can repaint them. I can refurb them if they look like they're a little beat up. When I got them, they're pretty much brand new. Maybe a few scuffs here and there. They're perfect. So I will put the link in the description. Maybe they have more. If you can take advantage of the deal, great. If not, they're still worth every penny of 40 bucks. So let's take a look at what I did, and I'll give you guys an idea of a very safe way on how you're going to mount these if you get them. So each one obviously holds 4 tires. You don't have to put 4 on if you don't want to. They are adjustable and they are foldable. So you get the 2 L brackets. You do get some cotter pins at the top. If you are going to fold these up and not use them, they will fold up into the wall and you can, add to your space. I mean, for me, I'm never going to fold them up. What I did is, in order for you to get these things set up properly where you have the adequate spacing, you're probably not going to be able to line these up perfectly on your studs. They have to go into a stud. They have to go in there with a nice bolt. I use 3 bolts. Obviously, they're drilled for 3, so you want to use all 3. And then I added some, these are kind of like 1x3s, I think, if I remember correctly. I added those to the wall, which gave me a nice surface to mount each bracket on. So they're very strong. They're fully adjustable, so these actually extend and telescope. There is a maximum limit. I have mine set at about 42 inches right now, which is perfect for these are 225, well, the series doesn't matter, but they're 225s, and then, yeah, these are 225s as well. So you can see I still have a little bit of room on there. You could probably fit 235, 245s and squeeze them in if you had to. Again, you have a little room, a little more play there if you have wider tires, but for most cars, you're going to be good to go on that. If you have a big giant truck with like huge tires, you can use these for that. Naturally, you'd have to bring them down from the ceiling a little bit. And again, depending on your situation, you'll have to mount these how you have to mount them. So now, only downside to these is this is a lot of weight. These run roughly about 25, 30 pounds a piece. This is a lot of weight. And Mother Nature, if we ever get an earthquake, that could be, kind of catastrophic. It could fall into my other car here. So what I did here is each one of these boards, and you can opt to use whatever type of wood you want. I could have put a big giant piece of plywood across there and covered the whole wall. In my case, this was the most cost-effective option, and they were easy to get home. So I believe they're not 2x4s. They're 8 inches long, and they run all the way down the full length of the wall. And I forget if they were like 1x3s. Anyway, I'm sorry, I kind of forget, guys. But anyway, you could use whatever you want as long as it's sturdy. There are 4 bolts per piece of wood for a total of 12, holding these into the studs on the wall. Then, of course, the bracket mounts in 3 spots to the wood itself. So on one of these brackets, I wanted to try to get all the way through the bracket, the wood and the studs, but where these things lined up. Unfortunately, most walls are on 16-inch centers, to the best of my knowledge, depending on your construction. In my case, they were a little bit off, so I had to do something like this in order to get the proper spacing. Obviously, once I had these things on the wall, I could space these brackets exactly where I needed them to be cosmetically pleasing to the eye as far as the distance. They're, again, for about 41 inches, and they fit perfectly on the wall. Now, only downside is depending on where your studs are. In my case, my stud is about 8 to 10 inches in from the bracket. So with all this weight, it started to pull on the top piece of wood. Now that's because the wood's pretty thin. If you use thicker wood, you wouldn't really have that problem. There was a little bit of a gap right into the top of there where that wood is. It was starting to pull off the wall. So as a safety precaution, and it probably wouldn't have fallen off the wall, but you never know. Mother Nature shakes. I want to make sure this is secure. What I did is I went ahead and attached another piece of wood here, and this is like I believe it's a 2x4. Again, I forget. It's not quite as wide. It's kind of an oddball size they had down at the lumber yard. But I picked up a piece of wood, I painted it black, and then I attached that into the ceiling in 4 spots with 4 lag bolts into the upper. Not studs, but the cross pieces of wood there, the eaves. Not the eaves. I'm drawing a blank, guys. Sorry, I'm not a contractor, so I don't know all the proper terminology. But either way, use a stud finder, mount those, super secure. Then I use some chain. And naturally this isn't just regular chain. This is, you know, this is actual. It's not cosmetic chain. This is 500-pound chain. So there's 3 pieces of chain. We're sharing one of these. We're sharing the chain with the 2 brackets right here on the bottom. And this is wrapped around. Not a big deal. You can do it however you want to do it. I could have put in, you know, a bolt through here with maybe an eyelet. I opted just to do this. It was the easiest and most secure. And then of course I used a couple turnbuckles, 3 turnbuckles. So what I did is once I got the chain set up, I had a little bit extra chain to put as kind of like a little bit of a guard here in case things start shaking. It'll hopefully catch these tires from rolling off. There's quite a bit of distance here for these to roll off. These are adjustable. You can bring them in a little bit if your tires weren't as large. This is the maximum setting where they take a nice kind of dip inside the bar. And there's a bar underneath there as well. There's 2 bars. And then I use a turnbuckle to just kind of put a little bit of tension on this and take some of the tension off the wall. So this is super strong. This is not going to go anywhere. All these turnbuckles and eyelets, or the S hooks, are all they're all 500-pound rated hooks and chains. So there's no way. We have a lot of strength there holding all that up. And just in case, you know, Mother Nature shakes, you just never know. I think the only thing that could be a problem, this would take a lot of force to bend these or break these, but if one was a little bit concerned with this, you could always run another tie through the wheels itself. What I'll probably do is run like a safety strap through each one of the wheels and just put a couple more eyelets into the wall, just in case something were to fail, it would catch it and not cause any damage to anything in the garage. So that's about it, guys. I mean, super cost effective. The wood was, I mean, probably with the wood and the bolts and the chain, you're probably adding on another 50 bucks to do that. You don't have to do that, but I do recommend, you know, with all this weight, you want to make sure that these aren't going to fall off. I saw a couple guys on the Amazon listing just take pictures and they just slap it up on the wall. And if you feel comfortable with that, then great. I sure don't want anything happening to my vehicle is parked in the garage. I have to deal with deductibles and all that shit. So this is a very secure way, and I think a very professional way to add this stuff to your garage. Now, eventually one day I may get 2 more of these racks and find a spot off to the other side here. It just depends on how many more wheels that I get here. I have been on the hunt for another set of rims. Again, because 4 lugs, 4 on 114.3, 4 on 100, 4 lugs in general are getting really hard to find. Let's face it, there's most cars are 5 lug nowadays, and dudes aren't really, you know, not a lot of guys are customizing older Hondas and older 4 lug cars. So if you're not too picky, you can still find wheels. They're still going to make wheels in the 16-inch, 15-inch fitment, but when you start getting involved in 18s and 20s, it's getting harder and harder. Let's face it, for that particular car, 18 is a pretty decent sized wheel. 20 was huge for the car, but it looked great, but unfortunately it's getting really hard to find stuff. And I'm the type of person, I really like a specific wheel. I have a certain look that I like, and some of the wheels that they have available, there's not much left that I really like. So time will tell. I'll probably end up buying something in the near future just to have on back burner. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope this was interesting to you. I hope that this is something maybe that you might find useful in your garage. Again, if you're organized and a neat freak like me, this is a no-brainer, and you really can't beat the price, guys. So thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. Drop me a comment. Drop me an email. I'm always here to assist any way I can. As always, guys, if you do like the content, subscribe to the channel, but do click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. You guys have a fantastic evening, and take care.